Nicely done. And now let's navigate to the homepage, which currently just has the heading for with the text of homepage. And notice how I'm importing few components. I have featured products, I have hero, services, and contact. And that's one of the things that I always like to do when I'm setting up my project. I always like to set up my components right away. So I know that eventually in my homepage, I'm going to have some kind of hero. I'll have featured products, services, and newsletter. So what I do in the beginning, I just set up the page. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of adding too much CSS or too much functionality in the actual page, but that is my personal preference. Now, there are some exceptions, of course. If I see that it makes more sense to set up all the functionality in one place, then I definitely do it. Or if, I don't know, the return or functionality is very simple. Like, for example, here, I just went with page hero, and then the rest of the content was right inside the about page. Now, the one page where I'll set up all the functionality as well as the return, which is going to be bigger, is of course going to be the single product page. But don't worry, we're going to get there in no time. So let's start here with the homepage, and I would just want to render these components. And then once we render them, effectively we're done in the homepage component, and then we can slowly start working on each separate component. So I'll start with main. And by the way, I'll navigate there as well, just so we can see what we're doing. So we have the main. Inside of the main, I would want to render those components one by one. So hero first, then we're going to go with featured products. And after that, we'll have services. And lastly, we'll have contact component. Contact and then component. We'll save, and that's it. Our work in the homepage is done. So now, of course, I would probably want to close all my files as well as the structure here. And we'll just navigate to the source. We're looking for components. And you guessed it, we're looking for the hero. Now for the hero, we're importing style. Since of course, I would want to set it up as styled component. And notice this is the CSS we're using over here. And then I have a link because eventually there's going to be a link to a product page like so. And also I have two images. One, the main one, hero BCG, and here I just got lazy and I went with hero BCG number 2. And as far as the naming, the same. Hero BCG and hero BCG2. And I'm going to start with my return. We're going to go with the wrapper. So we're returning our styled component. And I'm going to add right away that width, that global width, which is sitting in the section center class. And then I'm going to have the article. And in this case, I will add a class of content. And as a side note, that's one of the reasons why I enjoy using the styled components, because I don't have to worry about the name collisions. In here, I can just simply go with content. So with a very generic class name, and then I can use it on all my components. I know I've mentioned this probably a lot by this time, but again, I just want to emphasize one of the main reasons why I enjoy using styled components. And instead of the content, we're going to go with heading 1 here. And we'll just say design. And then your. And now I would want to get a line break as well. So I'll set up my line break element. And we'll say comfort. And then a zone. Let's save it. We should see something like this on screen. Beautiful. And then also I would want to add the paragraph here. And we'll go with lorem, I don't know, 20. Again, whatever text you would want to place here. And then lastly, we have a link here. So we're going to go with link. And again, you can point the link wherever you would like. I'm going to point to a products page. And I'll add a class name here. I'll say BTN. So that's going to be my global class for buttons. And I'll also add this hero BTN because I'll add a little bit of different styling inside of this styled component. So notice I'm targeting this class and I'm just making this button bigger effectively. And then instead of this link, let's just say shop, not show, shop now, like so. And that's our first article. And we'll only display the text on a small screen. But then once we get to the big screen, I also would want to display the image. So we go here with IMG container. essentially the article with the class of img container. And in here, I would just want to place two images. One is going to be the hero BCG, and then the second one is hero BCG number 2. So let's go with hero BCG. That's the name of my variable. I'll say that this is a nice table. And we do need to add a class since there's a little bit of styling. And we're going to go with class name, and it's going to be equal to main hyphen img. We'll copy and paste, and let's just change these values around. It's going to be hero BCG number 2. And as far as the alternative text, I'll say person working here. And for the class, we'll say accent img. So the class name is this one. Make sure that it matches exactly what I have inside of the styled component. If you don't have the same look, just double check the class names. Again, don't worry about this one. This will fix itself once we get to the more components. At the moment, what we should worry about is whether we have the same look. I'm going to navigate here. That is my about page. And by the way, probably you would want to add more text, right? So sorry, little detour. I'm going to navigate to where it is, about page. And I don't know, instead of this 30, I'm going to go with 50. I think it's going to look a little bit better. I save, and there it is. I have a little bit more text. Now, what I'm interested is my homepage, and there it is. So this is how it's going to look on a big screen. And once we get to the small screen, of course, we'll have this type of look. So it looks somewhat good. I think now we can focus on next components.